Yeah, I know. Yes, hit that thumbs up and subscription button. Hopefully tonight's gonna be a great night. I'm excited, nervous, all at the same time. Let's get it. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something. Oh man, I'm so glad you guys are actually back, because after last Sunday, oh my goodness. But we're excited. Yeah, I know. SC Project branding, we'll do that one here. Really cool. We're also gonna change the kickstand now, guys. Alright? Let's see. If you guys tuned in, make sure you hit that thumbs up and that subscription button. If you're not, really appreciate it. What's good, guys? Mike is in the building, and welcome to FreeStyle Sunday here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week was very interesting, to say the least, and it was a bitter pill to swallow, guys. A lot to learn, a lot of extremely difficult experiences that put me through the ringer a little bit. But I gotta say, before we get to any of that stuff, guys, let's do a little house cleaning, man. I'm gonna need you guys to hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps with the channel, help us grow. Also, hitting the thumbs up helps with the algorithm. It's a great way to kind of help contribute. You don't have to really do anything else by smashing that thumbs up, man. So just gonna kind of quickly dive into this, not waste too much time, because last week was a huge learning opportunity for me and anybody that was tuned in or that went through the difficulties with me. So one of my favorite up-to-date boxers is Manny Pacquiao, man. Okay, there's a particular reason why I'm going there. You guys are probably saying, why is he talking about Manny Pacquiao? This is motorcycle content kind of style. So one thing I love about this guy, he's fought quite a bit of fights, and I've lost quite a few and won quite a few in spectacular fashion. And the cool thing is that he never stops, never give up kind of thing. So, and this is why we're kind of relating to that, because after last Sunday, the difficulty that we kind of went through and dealt with, at some point I felt like, oh my God, the ship is sinking, and I just kept on pushing through it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it and make it a learning opportunity. So it's one of those things that kind of correlates, all right? So that's why. So we're just gonna kind of give everybody a warm welcome before we dive into anything, guys. Again, if you're tuned in, you're watching, it doesn't cost you much, it doesn't take anything away from you. You're gonna hit that thumbs up, helps with the algorithm. First off, we're gonna say big congratulations to Dude Munkus. Reached 3,000 subscribers, guys. Hardworking black dude, like his work, great energy. So Queens NYC's in the building. He's in New York. Donna, he was here last time. Guys, I must say, I was super nervous. I'm like, nobody will ever come back. Shout out to Steve 5 Up. He actually stayed in the stream for about like half an hour, us troubleshooting, figuring things out. I picked up quite a bit of kit to kind of help alleviate things. I'm just going to go through it again. Aeriel G. I've never seen him before. What's good, man? Welcome, man. Hit that thumbs up if you're here. Would appreciate it. We have, of course, a regular Governor D Nice. Love seeing this dude. He supports both the channel, the Motivation one, and my channel, and never seems to be a way to when I need a little bit of support or a little bit of positivity. So, yeah, man, what's good with you guys? Before we go any further, I just want to kind of get a temperature with you guys and see how you feel, what's new with everybody, man. Oh, what's good? Anthony, he's back in the building. Yes, sir. So I'm going to need that thumbs up, though, once Steve comes in, because that's the ultimate test. We're going to see if he sounds good, because your boy was thoroughly... I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to explain. So what ended up happening, anger, frustration, embarrassment, all of it kind of crumbled all together. But I'm one of those type of people that I don't take things like that too difficult. I balled up fairly quickly, and it bothers me. And within that same time frame, I'm looking for solutions, looking for answers, and figuring things out. So I don't take that energy and hold it on too long, even though some of the part kind of annoyed me. Maybe a couple of hours in, but immediately started looking for solutions and answers. So throughout the week, we did a lot of dry tests with my wife, run scenarios in case something were to went wrong again. How do we tackle it? How do we make sure things go smooth? What's good? 650 Eve's in the building, guys. Just a heads up, he will be on the stream at some point. So that's another good look as well. So without further ado, man, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the live chat. I will be highlighting questions and answering them towards the end of the night, guys. And yeah, man, let's get to it, man. Let's give 5 Up a warm welcome because it was his birthday. Well, last week, but it's still his birthday. We're celebrating. We're about to get him some strippers or something like that. So let's give him that warm welcome, man. What's good?
You know how I love strippers.
Yo, we're starting on the right note, guys. This is 5 Up.
What's going on, guys? Man, what's good? What's good? I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that Mike spit on it, and it's no longer a dry rub, and we are runner, and we're just doing our thing now. It's all gonna work perfectly.
We had a little powwow prior to all this, and kind of troubleshooted thing quite a bit. Funny thing is, everything kind of worked perfectly. We felt everything was good. We were more kind of going back and forth, like, should you back up or come closer, kind of thing. But outside of that, man, oh my God, that's exactly how it was a little bit earlier. We're like the Three Stooges, like.
How about?
Oh man.
We got this. We got this, man.
So if you guys have anything you want to ask, you should definitely ask him. So as you guys know, 5 Up is one of the guys that finally copped himself a Superleggera. For those of you that are Ducatistas, you know, most people refer to them super legs. It's just a marvel of a bike, something that I'm probably going to say this, but Anna's probably going to smack me in there. She don't like me saying things like, I'll never get this kind of thing. She feel like it's negative, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not truly negativity or whatever, but there's a select few that are able to get it, and somehow I figured it out. You know, as 650 Evo always say, he goes, Steve, when you put your mind to something, you say you're going to do it. He goes, there's no doubt in my mind that you eventually figure it out and do it. Even if I had to slaughter a couple of lambs over the full moon or whatever I have to do, I figure it out. So.
I don't know, man. I'm a bit of a realist. That's the thing. And it's like, I don't know, either I'm a realist or I'm a little bit too conservative when it comes to throwing out dollar bills. But maybe that's
Mike,
why.
I'm telling you, it still doesn't feel real. So how's that sound?
Oh, my God.
I look back, I'm like, holy shit. What is that doing there? That should be, you know, in some millionaire's garage, or should be, you know, parked next to a, you know, 488 Pista Ferrari or some crap like that, you know?
It might be time for you to pay me some of that reparations, man. Maybe I could be able to get my own. I'm just saying.
Well, I got to wait to get that child support that 650 each still owes my mom. so talk him into paying that back child support for, you know, from my father there, and then we'll get that figured out, and I'll give you a coin for sure.
Between the two of you guys, you are the only two guys that I know that can actually attain yourself a Superleggera, and I wouldn't be too surprised if I were to see Ebe with one down the line, man. But we're not gonna stick to that too much, guys. I want to kind of highlight one thing that's kind of really dope when we're talking about 5 Up, his channel. Well, he's kind of intermittent YouTuber or content creator. Every now and then he jumps in.
It's gonna come back, sir. It's gonna come back. I have to. I'm commanded by my father and multiple other YouTubers, as yourself also, such as yourself, and it's gonna come back. So I never lost love for it, Mike. I just got really busy. You know, life gets in the way. So I decided I want to go back to my roots, why I started YouTube, and that's to share my passion with other people.
What I've told him, guys, this is the thing about with 5 Up. This guy is immensely talented when we're talking about, well, road racing is one of it. one of them. The other, he doesn't necessarily need to do YouTube as us peasants do, okay? Either road racing or moto vlogging, which barely get any goddamn views to begin with, all right? So, yes, I did drop
Yeah,
a
not on motorcycles. It's a very small sliver of YouTube, and you do it. As a labor of love, let's call it.
That's true. That's true, man. I dropped a video today, which I thought was amazing, but then again, you can never rate your own video. You guys can definitely check it out. Hit the thumbs up if you want to, but they don't really get too many views. Like, just to kind of backtrack to what I was saying, 5UP doesn't necessarily need to be writing per se to create content. I don't know if you guys ever seen his content, but outside of him doing road racing, he's immensely talented, as I was saying a little bit earlier, about dismantling. If you guys find it interesting that I take out my bikes apart, he takes everything apart to the T. And I'm like, how the fuck do you remember where each bolt and screw, washer, Loctite, Torque spec goes? And he does it all. He could just put a camera in his garage and just do that. Anyone would sit down and eat that with popcorn. I'm just telling you, that's one of the things, right?
Yeah, and don't designate me to just a roll racer either. We enjoy doing that, but I do enjoy track riding, much more than even the roll racing. It's just more sporadic, and I do drag racing and our obvious nice spirited street riding from state to state to country, if you consider Mexico country that we're allowed to ride in.
Is it New Mexico or Mexicans?
No, Mexicans, like jumping beans,
Well, that's racist, man.
Whenever we're so-called doing anything over the certified speed limit, we're in Mexico, so federales can't catch us in Mexico.
Anyway, I kind of somewhat told a story yesterday. Guys, I'm a huge fan of what these guys do with road racing and going as fast. I remember seeing a video of you on your Rocket 3, which was... I had to call him right after, okay? Because I'm like, dude, it looks like you're doing warp speed as you throttle the fucking Rocket 3. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And you guys seen my videos. Mine's more pace and personality driven, showing New York kind of thing. These guys are warping through time. And I have no idea how you guys don't get bored of this and it doesn't become the norm. Like, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny. We record during, major action, obviously, in racing, but most of our riding is riding and talking back and forth on our communication devices and pointing out, nice homes and, the skylines of different cities and the water and stuff. And unfortunately and fortunately, depending on what the viewers like to see, it's what we like to do. And we'll do a little bit of racing every once in a while. Of course, not a mile over the designated speed limit, but we have great editing skills, and we can speed up all our film to make it look like we're going fast.
Yeah, speed up, right? That's what we mean. We're putting that in air quotes. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
So, the funny thing is like, I think I've told the story the last time when we did that faux pas, okay? I got a speeding ticket before out in Bear Mountain. That's why we do like speed runs, but it's more twisties and curve and sweeping turns. And I was rocking with a buddy of mine, and I didn't see. Usually, we tend to just keep going, okay? Not saying that's what we do. Keep going because you don't realize they're there. And my buddy pulled over. I'm thinking, oh, he's just checking his bike or checking out the view. So I pulled over and I turned around. I'm like, oh shit, because they wouldn't have really caught up to us. But long story short, I get a ticket. My buddy paid for his. I was determined I'm not paying for shit. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna go to court. Blah blah blah. Come to find out, the police officer or whatever, precinct, they found my channel. It was small. I'm talking about when I was 4,000 subs, maybe 4,500. They found the channel. And they kind of knew everything. They knew, because I dry snitched on myself. I did like a predetermined vlog. I'm like, oh, that'd be great content. Let me talk about it. And let me come up with very good ideas, or let people bounce back and forth ideas regarding like what happens when I go to court. What do I say? And the cop was like, I already heard everything you said you're going to say kind of thing. He watched the videos to the T, to the day kind of thing. And after that, I got very nervous when it comes to writing and posting stuff because I have a huge fear of losing my license and just having a ton of you know how it is. I'm black, man. When it comes to like spending money, I don't want to spend no goddamn money. All right. So I don't I want to be good with my money.
I have a driving lawyer on standby from the age of 16 to 22. It was a very rowdy time. That's why I waited so long until 2013 for me to actually start riding motorcycles on the street. So, but my driving, it was like every day was my last. I didn't care. I was ripping gears and doing whatever I had to do to impress my friends or impress myself. Like, how the hell did I just make it out of that?
Yeah, I try to keep it nice and clean. Oh, just want to say hello to my good buddy Angelo. Angelo's a filmmaker, by the way. He does wedding films, but he used to ride. He's one of the guys that stopped riding out of New York. So that's one of the things we'll talk about down the line. I am kind of watching the chat.
Okay.
So since we are talking about getting tickets and stuff and money, not to go in super details or anything like that, a bike like the Superleg, I could imagine it is not pretty insuring this thing because you can't really like partial it or anything like that. We're talking about you need to be clean. Something were to go down, you would get another bike. So I'm assuming it's not a fun ride in that course.
Well, the insurance almost stopped me from purchasing the bike because I do have tickets. I'm not any type of a substance user or whatever. My substance is my speed and adrenaline rush. So I've gotten my fair share of tickets, been pulled over, obviously always respectful to the officers. They're only doing their damn job. So, I don't feel like I'm getting harassed or anything like that. But that's because I'm white too. So I don't know.
You do get those special privileges because when I get pulled
it's
over,
all about white privilege because I don't have to go to work and well, never mind. I'm not gonna even go there.
all of his shit is pretty much free, guys. All right, I have to hustle.
Yeah, and as do I. So this is as I get older, Mike. I really start minding my P's and Q's, as we would call it, because I've had plenty of tickets. So my insurance first quote for this bike, a normal super bike like my S1000 RR, my Speciale, they're $2,000 to $4,000 a year for insurance. Michigan is one of the most expensive states to insure anything, automotive, boat, recreation vehicle. They have so many different taxes and fees on their stuff. It's insane. But anyways, I got my first quote on this bike for $26,000 for the year for insurance. So that's obviously, I work way too hard for my money. I make ends meet and whatever because I don't have a family and kids and, whatever. I live by myself.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But anyways, it was just too much. And I did some more digging, switched to another insurance company, switched back, whatever. Now the insurance is actually obtainable, so after I get a couple of tickets falling off my record here in the spring, I'll be down to $150 a month for insurance for the bike, which I think is very, very reasonable, and right now it's up over $300 a month, but it is what it is. I can swing it. So it's worth it. It's a very expensive bike. So
guys, that's one of kind of a light touch on, because I get that question quite a bit on my bike as well, because they're all kind of insured all together. Personally, myself, I bundle home, car, and all that stuff all together. It's a question I get so often from people, but being in New York, getting a super bike is something that I've been putting on the back burner, but A and I spoke last night over dinner. So maybe we'll see what happens. But insurance for super bikes in New York, ridiculous. This is why you see so many bikes in New York City with no plates and they just don't stop for anything. It's because these guys are just buying these bikes, cash out, and insuring them costs just as much as buying the bike, especially if you have tickets or if you're really young. So age matters. So
Yeah, it depends on your where you're at in New York and where you're at in these populated cities based off of their statistics for, those bikes being vandalized or stolen.
yeah, well, if you're gonna invest that much on any one of those bikes, guys, I always tell people, I mean, I don't want to get all like super into it. If you're gonna invest into a toy, make sure you got somewhere to put it. Let's just put it this is clean. But another thing that I think is really cool that I'd love to hear your touch on about, not just on the Superleggera as well. One thing about owning these bikes, I think it's really cool. There's a couple of people that put hands on these motorcycles. Not a lot. You're one of them, and Cali Motor does as well, and I do as much as I can, or the best that I can. And I always think it's one of the best way to own yourself a Ducati, because a lot of people tend to ask, oh, you have this bike or you have that bike or whatever. But I can assure you guys, the white man has way more than me, way better than I do. And the best way to actually own that, guys, is to be able to do some of the work yourself. That's where you're going to save the cost. And this is where we started talking about Steve being able to do a lot of that work. So walk us through some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you either have it or you don't, Mike. I mean, I worked as a mechanic for a living on late model Ford diesel Power Strokes. So I've been a mechanic my whole life. Motorcycles is slightly different, but not that much different. The detailed work, I've seen good mechanics, bad mechanics. I've seen good doctors, poor doctors, right? At the end of the day, if you feel like that you have it and you can retain it and you can learn and take the time, is having patience to get through certain tasks. I mean, don't try doing a Desmo service as your very first thing when you've never changed a battery in the bike, so there's some people that really shouldn't do it. And that's why there's service facilities and people who can handle it, and they just have to be willing to pay, because their job might be some other trade job or something else that I would never understand or be able to do. So you stay in your lane is my opinion. But if you have the foresight, you have the ambition to work on it yourself, sure, tackle it. Just try not to tackle more than, or bite off more than what you can chew.
Okay.
And make sure you have, phone a friend or, some sort of backup.
Was that a nudge? Was that a nudge to me?
No. Honestly, I was just gonna concentrate on that point a little bit, Mike, because I called Zach. I'm friends with Zach from Sills BMW, the master mechanic that he uses for his build series. The dude is miles ahead of me as a motorcycle mechanic, for sure. We click on a mechanical level. We use the same part of our brain, I guess. And I have an issue or need a torque spec or whatever for my BMW, or have a question, I can call him, text him, and he takes care of me. Same thing with my Ducati mechanics. Hey, I have a question about this, or I can get a hold of Jeremy from CMP when I'm working on a Ninja H2, or, if I'm working on my Hayabusa. Everybody that worked on Hayabusas back in the 1920s when they emerged out of the tar because they're a dinosaur, they're all dead. So I have to figure that out on my own.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're just paying it forward because even, for example, I worked on the Street Fighter, and a lot of people, I got a lot of blowback for working on the Street Fighter. And shout out to Cali Moto for TV. He's actually in the live stream, live chat. Like as I mentioned, he works on his bike as well. I got a huge blowback for taking apart the Street Fighter, like all the way down to its core, and the bike had like a couple of 100 miles on it, and and I'm like, here's the thing. If you pay somebody to do this work for your bike, they're going to do the same. They're going to take it apart just as I am. So, it's up to you what you want to do. And go ahead.
And they're trying to beat a certain amount of hours that they're getting paid if they're flat rate. So they may not take the same care that you're going to take with your own motorcycle also. And I'm not speculating that dealership mechanics aren't as careful or whatever, because that's why the rates are higher at a Ducati shop and these boutique, more prevalent, more expensive bikes. So these guys are going to, be more careful with it. Yep. But no one's going to be more careful with it than yourself.
Agreed. Agreed. And just kind of foolproof your work a little bit. I mean, for me, I've done some work where I marked it with the painter's marker, and after writing and testing it, it's perfectly fine. And towards the tail end of the season, I've seen like a bolt walk where I had to go retorque it back down, kind of thing. So you do get that. The other thing I want to kind of just quickly brush up on. I think there's a stigma about certified technician. I'm not talking about just anybody. I even shared that sentiment early on, where the whole stealership business, and I think you start having a newfound respect for what somebody like Zach does or Dotto does. When you're able to see how much work, when you've done it yourself, it's almost like walking in someone else's shoe. Once you've dealt with it yourself and see the special tools that's required, that probably costs a specific amount, troubleshooting, fighting your specs and stuff like that, you start understanding why certain jobs, because I've always said to myself, oh man, they're charging 3 hours for this amount of labor or whatnot, but you have to take a few things into consideration. Working on a motorcycle, it's like a layering process. You delayering, you know what I mean? So even though if it's a simple task, to get to it, it's taking you 2 hours. Right? You agree?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, and there's nothing more like, as I'm taking something apart, if I don't have a service manual in front of me, I don't have to be certified motorcycle technician to know that, you know, rear sets and side stand mounting has to come off of a V4 in order to pull the pivots out to remove a swing arm from it, because it's all modular designs and whatever. So if you have a mechanical brain, you can figure it out. But just I get it all the time in my business, where, you know, a guy's like, oh my gosh, you know, you're doing X and X and X amount of work and it costs $800. I can't believe it costs that much money. I'm like, well, I have a lot of know-how, a lot of schooling using premium parts. You get a warranty, you know, the tools, just the tools needed to do what this is. To be a mechanic or a technician, as I would rather call it, you really have to put a huge investment in your hands, your mind, and your tools in order to be proficient in what you need to do and do clean work.
Yeah, I agree, because my biggest little thing now that people are talking about. So as you guys know, the Street Fighter is fairly new, even though a lot of the structure is the same as the Panigale V4S, V4, blah, blah, blah. It's quite similar, but since the bike is so new, not a lot of work's being done. Come to find out, I visited a couple of dealership, and a lot of them were using some of my videos as reference point. I'm not saying that to follow, like as reference point, just to kind of get a general idea, since it's fairly new. And every single person has made fun of me about my fucking bullshit tools. It was like, you do nice work, but your tools are so shit. So hence why I ended up partnering with Motivation USA, and they partner with Beta Tools. And now your boy, it's like tons of tools coming all the time. Torque wrenches and stuff, and they could be super expensive, because I remember you referring me, because I'm like, I gotta take off my rear wheel to do the hub and stuff like that, and do the 520 conversion, and the torque. He sent me a torque wrench. It was like $300. I'm like, what the? So as you guys can see, having the right tools goes a long way. And also, it gives you a peace of mind, really, because if you kind of duct tape it together, I mean, you're talking about a pretty hefty bike you're riding, or whether even if it was a simple bike that was not expensive, you're still putting yourself at risk if it's not done right, right?
There you go. It's at risk. It's the safety factor too, Mike. So when you're doing brakes, wheels, wheel bearings, so this is something, as I ride sometimes at a high rate of speed, sometimes doing my track days, I am thinking about every bolt I just got through torquing, doing a tire change or doing a brake pad change, or, you know, did I, you know, do my brake fluid flush that I typically do on this bike, you know, before the season and stuff of that nature. So I'm thinking of all these mechanical aspects as I am riding the bike, not only trying to hit my apex and, looking for traffic or whatever and whatnot. I'm thinking about the mechanical things that are going on underneath me. And it's a peace of mind for me knowing that I did it, because I have mental notes where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember getting out the, quarter drive torque wrench and torquing that to 17 Newton meters, whatever, so like I have less worries knowing that I did it. You just assume when someone else is doing the work on your bike, your best assumption is that it's done. So
I 100% agree. The safety factor, even someone here mentioned that as well. Let me see here. Western civilization mentioned the safety factor is a huge deal. Just to kind of go off that a little bit, for a very long time, I nearly did not touch my bikes and kind of got it done professionally, only because I felt the safety, the fact that I paid to get a certain task done. It's a warranted work. If anything were to go wrong, it's going to be the dealer's responsibility, and you'll soon find out. A lot of time, they will skim out of it. So in that same vein, it was something that I had to seriously consider once I started tallying up. It's like 1 bike, 2 bike, 3 bike, and then now 4th bike coming kind of thing. You either going to have to start putting in your own work kind of thing, or you can actually just, you would have to pay someone because you still have to maintain it. And as I mentioned, guys, your boy's strapped for cash. So, I'm going to do as much as I can. So anyway, man, people had asked your favorite bike. It's kind of a dumb question because I know you're going to say the Superleggera.
Well, it depends on favorite for what, though. So I can categorize this and open some people's eyes to the type of riding I do and the different types of bikes that I do enjoy. So I'm not going to narrow it to just one bike. I'm sorry. I might be letting some people down, but whatever.
All right. So, okay, here's a better thing to ask. Here's a better thing. If you had a single option of picking one thing that you could only really have, and that's it, you don't have a multiple choice of 10, 20 bikes kind of thing, which I'm going to ask a lot of other people that's going to join this to have multiple bikes. Like, if you had one option, what would you pick? Because I want to know.
Yeah, currently there's 2 that I'm thinking of that are actually floating around in my thick skull here. I would probably ride a multi-strada full time. If I wasn't into this racing, I just wanted to ride and do track days and whatever. That was my first Ducati mic, the 2014 Multistrada with the 1198, Superbike motor, whatever. And, they had Skyhook electronic suspension and just rode awesome. I still own it. And that bike is a do-it-all bike. And I would probably be into that. I can ride it for long distances. I have heated grips. I have cruise control. I can throw Anna B on the back and you'll never see her again. I'm like waiting for him to throw that in there. I'm just waiting for him to do that. And, and then like if I was doing more speed stuff and higher mileage stuff, I would be all over my Hayabusa, honestly. And I hated on those bikes, those dinosaur bikes. I made a comment earlier that went over your head about it rising from the tar, because we used to call them dinosaurs because they haven't changed it in so long, right? But I rode the bike for a day, a friend of mine's first gen. I'm like, oh, I get it. I can do 160 miles on this bike today, go fast, go through the turns okay, not trying to drag me or do any type of super bike kind of crap or track stuff. And I get off the bike and I'm not fatigued and I'm not dealing with the vibration and numb hands. I can actually stand up straight when I get off of it, where, I get off the S1000, the Panigales, the H2, and I feel like I'm 10 years older than what I am sometimes when I get off of those bikes on the longer rides. So, and to be honest, one of my favorite cruising bikes is my new 2021 Triumph Rocket 3 GT. So that bike I absolutely adore. I love that bike. I love the wow factor. I love how it handles. I love how it balances. I love looking at it mechanically. I love that it does everything a cruiser is supposed to do and tenfold more for the price point it's at.
Tell them, I told him I'm looking for another bike, and I'm considering it being a Superbike, and I'm like, I really like the BMW S1000 double R M package, and he told me, you tell them, insult all the BMW people, Steve, please tell me.
I said it's a Manila bike. It's boring.
Yeah, he said, if you want something soulless, get that.
Yeah. You want the redheaded bike? It'll be, and a lot of people are gonna, unsubscribe from my channel as we're speaking, just like they did on 650 Eve's channel when he did a comparison of the 1199R versus his HP4. He lost half his subscribers at that moment because he liked the Ducati more at that time. But the BMW is a great bike, and it does things great mechanically, fit, finish, things of that nature. Their price point is actually getting closer to a premium Japanese bike, and the fit and finish shows that. Yes, it's still somewhat of a special bike, but it's getting to be a Me Too bike also, because it is obtainable. It is a great bike. It's a great package, man. You got electronic suspension. You have, heated grips, cruise control. The new bikes have conductivity for your navigation and your phone on a beautiful TFT color display. I get it. It's the engine that this inline four that is just absolutely soulless. Yes, it makes power to 14,000 RPMs. Yes, it's a 200 plus horsepower super bike. But even if you're slower around a track or slower trying to keep up with your buddies, I had way more fun on my 1299, my 1199 Panigales because of, I guess you could say, their flaws, which translate into character for me. Okay. You'll see on some of my videos of me wrestling my 1299 around Barber on street tires, sliding all over, wheeling all over, bucking, snorting, passing people like they're, standing still in, intermediate class and whatever. And I was having so much fun. It was such an invigorating process. And, the art, the form of riding and riding properly was much more rewarding on a V-twin bike, a V4 bike, a inline 3 bike, a triple. It's just the inline 4 bikes, man, are just really boring. In the BMW, in my opinion, 9 times out of 10, I would jump on my 1299 over my S1000. And my S1000 was a beautiful bike at the time, BST carbon fiber wheels, Brentune, full exhaust, every bit of carbon you could have on the bike. It was gorgeous. I rode it, and I always got off it wanting more when it came to character.
The thing is, for me, a lot of you always ask me, oh, why don't you get a different bike? Why don't, and I've thought about it a lot. What I've heard, the top bikes that I thought of jumping in between, it's like the BMW, of course. I was in a huge fans of the past generation with the it's like I call it bipolar with the two different sides, but I think
that's the Forrest Whitaker look.
Oh my god, no. That's racist.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Saying,
I knew you were gonna say, hey, race is the human race. So
nah, you're not gonna skate off for that bullshit, man. That's racist. I have he's a great writer, okay, great director. All right.
Mm-hmm. A writer, not a rider.
Right, not motorcycle rider. Writing, black people write too, Steve. Calm down. Reread and write.
I'm just saying. You ain't gonna beat Keanu Reeves around a track, I guarantee you that. Or do any Matrix shit.
Yo, why you gotta go there?
Or grow the nice hair.
He fucking rides. He rides already. You can't even put that. They're not in the same category. You see this? This is how we start going on a tangent every time we talk outside of the goddamn street. As I was saying, guys, it's like a couple of bikes that really caught my attention. I really, really like. Before getting the Street Fighter, I almost got a KTM Super Duke. I kind of had like a poor experience when I went to test ride the bike. He
And
has
one of
one
my
of those.
favorites, and I had a poor experience also with the test ride, and I still ended up buying one. So
Ooh,
it was worth it.
you committed after a poor test ride.
Yeah, 2 years after, or a year after, no, 2 years after, Mike, I ended up buying a S1000 single R instead because even though they weren't supposed to let me demo the bike, he goes, go put 5 miles on it and see what you think. You already own a lot of bikes. You'll have a good idea. I'm not supposed to demo this bike. I bought the S1000 just like that.
That's that white
guy
privilege,
know
man.
later on at the KTM dealer. I'm like, yeah, I bought a S1000, single R. He goes, why'd you do that? I thought you were interested in KTM. I said, you told me that you wouldn't even start it or let me ride around the parking lot. So he's like, oh man, he goes, we really need to change that. And I really apologize. And he redeemed himself, and I bought a special edition 2016 Super Duke.
Yo, I'm telling you, that's that white privilege. I've told you my story with going at Triumph.
No, you just got to voice your opinion and be stern. Be firm and assertive, Michael.
Listen, I got a deep voice, man, okay? Let me get real deep right now. You guys can hear me? Like, how much
That's
deeper?
more than just a tip, man. You're deep. Jeez.
So, yeah, I almost got a KTM because I just felt like everything Ducati was doing was just like not comparable. Not in the space of Superbike. Superbike, they were doing well. The 1299, you have the Superleggera, you have the 1199. They were doing well. And I just didn't want to invest in getting a Superbike. I always felt like it's something I need to have at the tail end of my little collection. And I thought to myself, Super Duke. I love the sound. For me, style, sound, and characteristic are the key things. The speed is like the third and fourth thing for me, kind of thing. Because as long as we're hitting triple digits, which I never do, maybe if I'm in Mexico or something weird or whatever, I don't do that kind of stuff.
I taught you well, Danielson.
Nah, it's not Danielson. It's fucking, what's the dude's name? Leroy. There we go. That's right. Don't compare me to damn Danielson. Oh, you know what's weird? That actor him and what's the other singer's name? Shit. He has a huge motorcycle collection. Anyway, both of these motherfuckers don't live too far from where I live. One of them's a singer.
Oh, no way.
Huh? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that Danielson guy, well, now he's older, doesn't live too far from where I live. Yeah. And also there's a singer, Paul McCartney. His
oh yeah, Paul McCartney's always been
his motorcycle collection.
Motorcycle collection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that far from here actually. I'll probably do a video where I kind of highlight it. I think I did it a long time ago. But KTM was one of the bikes. Just kind of go back. I was looking at that Aprilia. Always been a kind of a big fan of them.
Oh, man, I love how is such a delicious.
They sound
bike.
absolutely amazing. Tons of characteristics.
Such a great bike.
There is no support for them in New York. That's the only problem. But now I feel a lot more confident if I were to buy one of those bikes because I feel like I would tear into it myself. But not having a lot of support is a key thing.
Mine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My 16 210 factory. That bike was clockwork. My buddy still rides it today. He owns it now, and I absolutely adored that bike. That was a really good bike. The only reason why I got rid of it is because he had a wad full of cash and was like, hey, I want to buy this. I'm like, man, I really want to do this Busa project, and I already have multiple Super Nakeds. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just maybe one day buy the newer version or whatever. But go ahead.
Yeah. So that was one, and then I've always had a thing for Yamaha. Just that crossplane engine, man. I'm not a big fan
MT10,
of
yeah.
I don't like the MT10. No. I feel like.
Well, you're talking crossplane, so you're talking FZ9 or MT9.
No, the R1 runs those. The Superbike too. Isn't there a crossplane crank on there?
Yeah, that's crossplane. That's X-plane, but that's going from a Super Naked to a Super Bike.
No, I know. I'm just going from the bikes that I really like and I kind of was fanning towards.
The R1 is the muscle bike. It's the muscle car of motorcycles because of that crossplane.
When that thing turns on, it gives Ducati a run for its money with the right exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this now. People are probably going to unsub the real Ducati people, whatever. I love mine. I love how they sound, but Aprilia got them trump on that engine sound. Boy, I don't think anybody would disagree on this.
Man,
You can't prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Anybody that's heard them.
Go to my Instagram and start watching some of the flyby videos of RSV4 and like my Speciale at full chap. And I have to eat some crow here, especially the V4R, the 998 version, Michael. Okay. At 16,500 RPMs, you literally have a V4 flying by you that is of the sound of a MotoGP bike, and the Aprilia has all the sound below that. Okay. But once you get up in those revs, man, there's nothing that beats that Ducati V4 and full chap 16,000 RPM sound. Maybe so. But I'm telling you, man, for some of the riding that I do, kind of like locally or sweepers, every time I'm out on any of my bikes and I pull up with somebody that's rocking a Aprilia RSV4 or one that engine lineup, your boy get a little jelly when they crank that thing up a little bit, because it just sounds so raw and rugged. And I've always called the Street Fighter an imposter, because I love how the hyper sound and the monster sound, I guess L twin, but what Ducati did with that setup, in my personal opinion, they kind of created a little bit of an imposter. It sounds more a GP bike, which is great. People love that. I like that too. With them turning on the rear cylinders at low RPM, the bike sounds very Ducati, very L twin, very thumpy, right? And even when the only time it stops doing it, when it's getting kind of hot kind of thing, the cylinders would turn off, and that stuff kind of super amazed me, the fact that it's that smart. And once you start cranking up, you're going past 7,000 RPM, 8,000. The bike sounds real GP. Ba, 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 ba. It's just, I don't know, it feels very, very racy, and I guess I'm so tuned into the rumble of the L twin, because whether you at 3,000 RPM, 6,000, 7, that rumble sounds the same. So I don't know. No, I can agree with you on the Aprilia, the note of the exhaust. I had the Austin Racing GP1R on my Tuono, and it sounded the business. It really did. Anything below 10,000 RPMs and cruising around and just wicking the throttle, it did sound great. But there's amazing amount of other things on the bike feel of the Aprilia that's so much different than the Ducati that is really interesting. I actually did a track day with my Tuono before I did sell it, and now I've done a track day with my 2016 Monster R also. Different tracks. Yeah, I believe that there were different tracks. I did Grattan on the Tuono, and I did Gingerman, I think, on the Monster R. And very, very different bikes, for sure. But a naked bike on the track was pretty close to the most amount of fun you can have with your pants on, pun intended, because we're talking about naked bikes. But
yeah, I'm waiting for you to go there.
yeah, I had to. But just such great bikes. So, man, the kit that these European bikes come with Öhlins or Showa big piston forks or Öhlins TTX shock or the electronic suspension that's now semi-dynamic or semi-active suspensions, and the brakes that are coming on them. It's more than what color you want in the different brands, but it's what turns you on. It's when you walk into your storage or your garage door and you open it up and you go, you're sexy. I want to fucking ride you. That's what really makes individualization and characterization of these bikes, and why different people like different bikes. I'm so glad that we're now all riding around driving the same electric car, Mr. Elon Musk.
Wow. Okay. That's getting a little personal. Obviously, you don't like Elon Musk.
I like Elon. I think he's got a great dry sense of humor, but by
Oh
no
my
means do
God.
I want to be shoveled around by all his electric cars.
Oh my God. Anyway, guys, just gonna take a second, guys. I'm gonna have Steve show us around the Superleggera and what he's working on. You can see a bike kind of torn down a little bit, but just want to let you guys know, if you're here, you're tuning in, please take a moment, hit the thumbs up, because your boy need it, because your boy barely get any of those views because I've been gone. It's all good though. No
Yeah,
worries.
well,
So
you took a good, much needed break, and so did I.
yeah.
Not for as many important reasons, but I have a lot going on behind me. I'm gonna try switching the camera around
Yeah,
without fat fingering it.
I'll let you do that while you set that up. I'm going to quickly show them my
Answer
peasant.
some questions.
Yeah, I'll answer some of that question. We'll throw this on shortly, guys. Steve's gonna show you around, but while then you get to see my peasant garage. It's nothing like his. So yeah, I'll wait till you kind of set up, guys. Anyway, thank you all. Armand Solis is in the building also. Thank you for tuning in. Wifey's always here supporting. Fireblade Pilot, he's tuning in. Guys, hit the thumbs up, please. It definitely helps. Dragon Chi, good dude. Of course, D Nice is here. OCR Mig stopped by also. Guys, thank you so much, man. I was super nervous about anybody coming back after last Sunday. And I totally did not stick to it too long. Like I said, I'm not one of those people that get into a situation where I allow it to completely overtake me, even though it did bother me, because I'm just a little neurotic when setting things up and wanting it to be a certain way. But I didn't let that last too long. I just focused on finding answers. We did a lot of troubleshooting, find out worst case scenarios, getting different fiber optic cables and making sure that strong connection and everything through. And really cool. Oh, also I got a ton of great feedback from other people that was on Instagram that came through, because I'm like, oh shit, it just went south really bad, and I'm like sinking with the ship. But a lot of really positive messages. So I'm gonna throw on Tabaz 8584. What's up, man? So I'm gonna throw on the camera on Steve now, guys. You're gonna take a look at the garage. He'll kind of walk you through stuff and kind of talk about it. God damn, man, you got the exhaust off on the Superleggera. By the way, guys, let me know, should he take off the winglets off the Superleggera? We've been talking about it. I'm like, no. I know they're big, but that's the presence of that bike. But let's take a quick look, man. This is his beautiful baby. Well, then you probably hear me just chat up a little bit. So yeah, man. You know what? Let me just put myself in the corner here while he talks. Why not?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I just, I have the exhaust off of it actually, because I am working with a good friend of mine that does CNC.
Ooh, hold on, Steve. I'm sorry, man. I gotta say what's up. Jared Campese is in the building too, man. I know he's a good buddy of yours, so.
Man, if anybody's on the live stream, they got to be some capacity of a friend or someone that we're definitely enjoying sharing this with.
Yeah, man. By the way, congrats to you, sir, on the new home and everything else that's going on. Seeing you guys doing a lot. That is really dope, man, and that's something to be extremely proud of. So,
yeah,
congrats
for sure.
to you.
These guys are making waves, man.
Yeah, you and wifey are doing amazing, and we love seeing that, man. So, congrats, brother. All right, Steve, let's see that, man.
Yeah, so the bike's semi tore apart a little bit. I'm waiting for a friend of mine to CNC make a new lowering link for me, because the Brox parts that are generic for the V4R, V4S Street Fighter for lowering the bike are not available for this, because of the specific carbon fiber arm, the BST arm, or the arm that's specifically made for Ducati for this bike, has different mounting points and such. So we have it apart right now. Well, that part gets developed, and I'll be able to put this bike right back up into regular OEM trim without any issues at all, with any modifications I'm doing to it. The bike is currently Bren tuned, so I'm going to have a little bit more power. I'm going to have a race fuel map available that I can put MR12 in it. It will be properly tuned for the oxygenated leaded race fuel. Yeah, this is it as a whole. The only thing I've really done to the bike is just done a tank protector, the new fuel cap on it, CRG, lane splitter, bar end mirror. It also has the Futurist Moto turn signals on it. Let me reach for them. Here we go. So we got the integrated turn signals and the mirror block offs on the bike and everything. And then the Futurist Moto rear, tail hugger removal. Well, not tail hugger, but the whatever the heck
tidy.
that ugly crap is.
They have
Yeah,
some
tail
great
tidy. Yeah. What's cool about this bike also, Mike, is the dash is unique to the Superleg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it has a GP dash, which I think they've adopted. So it has the Racing Evo setup and whatever. So this is like a regular mode, something that I'm right at home used to seeing on my past V4 from 2018. So if I go into race mode A, it changes it into a complete GP style dash. This mimics what they use for MotoGP and stuff. So
Wow, that's clean, man.
yeah, pretty unique. I still am not quite sure what the shift light and the tachometer is going to look like in this mode. So I only put 200 miles on the bike since I got
quick question. Somebody did ask last time, is the Öhlins steering damper included in black? Because that you can't seem to get like electronically to buy separately.
Yeah, so this is an electronic. This is a manual steering dampener. So V4R and Superleg get the steering dampener that's a manually adjusted steering damper, but it does come in black. And that's something else that's unique with the Superleg, actually, is the forks. The outers are black on them, which you'll see on the V4R I have tore apart here. It's still a manual fork, non-electronic suspension, but it's gold.
Do you guys see this freaking bike? Can you zoom, Steve? Zoom out. Just zoom out. Look at the detail of him taking this apart. This is wild, like absolutely wild. And he is not a certified
technician. Yeah, we're doing some pretty interesting stuff to this. So yeah, I mean, this is like kind of how I tear stuff apart. Everything's in section, in order, in these containers, that I lay out that I get actually from Harbor Freight, for the motorcycles. But this bike is going under some major construction right now with a double-sided extended Evil swing arm. And this is a 2020 V4R. And it has approximately 150 miles on it. So it's getting the full Acura exhaust installed on it right now. And we are doing a bunch of custom work at the back of the cylinder head here for the rear exhaust to loop around and make it around in clearance where the exhaust normally runs through here on the single side swing arm. All this has to be modified. So I have a good friend of mine that does aerospace TIG welding. We got the bends and the pipe that we need. And this week we will be working on finishing up the exhaust on Vader 2.0.
And you guys were impressed with some of the stuff that I do. It's nothing close to what he brings and what he does and how much he take it apart. Let's see the Busa.
Yeah, the Busa is going through some changes right now. I had to replace the fork seals on it. So I actually have never done that before, Mike. So I obtained all the tools needed to do it, went to the Suzuki dealer, got everything I needed to do it, pulled the forks and did it myself. So it's not a hard process, but another complaint with the Hayabusa, even with the 13 and newer, with the Brembo brake upgrade that they got in 2013 to present, is the braking power still kind of stinks on these bikes. They're a heavier bike, so they're not even as big as the H2 with the M50s and the larger, I think, over 330 millimeter rotors. But so I'm doing a big brake upgrade on the Hayabusa. It's going to get Brembo T-drive rotors. We already did an ABS delete, got rid of all the rubber lines, went to Spiegler and had all the braided lines made for it. You see right here, they're all coated with a smoked covering. And then I did a Brembo RCS 16 Corsa Corda radial mount brake master cylinder on it. And I'm also doing an RCS 16 radial clutch slave or master cylinder that should be coming in this week or whatever. So it'll get T-drive rotors, a pad upgrade, and a big master cylinder upgrade on this bike, because I plan on turboing this bike. Actually, it's brocked out at the right now with the Brock CT Meg. It has custom tuning from EJR Performance. Big shout out to Evan over there. He really knows how to make these bikes go very quickly, along with chassis setup is his specialty. He has his own 2019 or 2020 Busa himself called Megatron. This bike is dubbed Banana Hammock. So we come up with these names, that you kind of stick with these bikes. But yeah, he's been helping me along with this bike, along with the BMW over there too. The BMW is last 3 years has been going through some changes. The S1000 RR, this is a 2016 premium model.
Hold on 1 second. See, he can go on forever, just kind of highlighting everything. Just it's something I know that was gonna come up. I know Ebe got a lot of flack for that as well, and straight up it came up with the extended stretch swing arm. Immediately it was like a red flag. Callie mentioned it's a no-go. So I'm one of those naysayer when we're talking about stretch extended, and Steve and I had a bit of a conversation, and he made a really, really good point about having a bike that's stretch. Aesthetically, I'm not a huge fan of it. But what he explained to me, which I thought that was great, is the fact that there's a tool for everything, and how when you're in a certain space, so let's say if you're drag racing, you're doing a lot of roll racing and stuff like that, you're looking for the most amount of straight power, for straight roads, it works perfectly, and it makes perfect sense. I think I was viewing things a little bit narrow-minded. I'd say where it'd be more like, it should be as is, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment. Like, the bike is perfect, you shouldn't touch it, but it's pretty much bullshit, because we all take the exhaust out, we change tire profiles. It's just basically something that we don't prefer on someone else's bike.
No, it's all based on opinion. So when someone starts donating and paying for, let's say, this gentleman's bike from New York, or my bike here, or this guy's bike from Columbus, or my bike here, or whatever, when they start footing the bill, then that's when that opinion may be listened to, actually, because no one can deny the horsepower, the chassis, how awesome the Ducati V4R and the Ducati V4 platform is. So why not take it to a different level, another level? This guy is not interested in road racing. He's interested in max effort, roll racing. So he's doing with his money with what he chooses. It doesn't matter if it's something that you agree with or not. You can look the other way, you can tune out, whatever. You can have your opinion. That's America's a free space. But everybody has an opinion because they, own a keyboard and whatever, and they feel they should be heard. So whatever. It is what it is, and I don't take offense to it by any means. But my body, my choice. My money, my choice.
Oh,
Same
God.
thing with these people. So,
well, it's good to hear, and I like I said, when you kind of went over it with me, and like the specific reason, specific tool for different things, it's almost like people that goes off road or like doing wheelies, they get supermotos. It's different tools for different applications, which makes sense to me. I mean, granted, I wouldn't do it on my bike, but who knows? Then again, if one day I have 10 bikes, who knows? And I get bored, I want to do something different. Who knows? You never know. I mean, for example, I've noticed a lot of things that's changed due to MotoGP, where the new technology they're using, where they kind of pin the front of the bike down, which I've noticed.
I knew you were going to talk about this. Yeah.
Come on, man. It's a given. They pin the front of the bike down, I think, the first quarter of the race or something like that, before hitting the first corner. That way you get optimum momentum kind of thing, which Brock, I think that's like an iteration of that, where you guys kind of slam on the front and then cramp it down. I mean, we're talking about like super racy stuff here, guys. I mean, this is completely not in my level, but it's great to have someone that's here that's really into that stuff and knows it well better than I do. And you guys know I'm more of a leisure rider. You know, I'll do canyon carving out. You see me do some real heavy pulls. But when we come to, oh yeah, he's actually showing it here. Take a look. That's the lock
Yeah,
for
so
the
this
for the
is
front
a
brake.
rock strap kit. Again, can be removed very, very easily, but during heavy acceleration, the more that the electronics have to intervene to keep the front tire down, if you want to be quicker than your opponent, you need to somehow keep the chassis working on the bike and keep it from wheeling. So keeping the droop or the top out of the front forks, that's what this strap is for. So during acceleration, the springs in the front forks are not helping shift the weight back even further and help the bike into a wheelie. It locks it down. And then also you're negating being able to use the weight of the wheel, axle, all your unsprung weight to hold the front of the bike down also, instead of like bouncing it like a trampoline up into a wheelie. And oddly enough, that's what Ducati uses these forks to also, or I'm sorry, forks, uses these wings for also, is for cresting hills and different elevations while road racing. That allows the electronics not to intervene as much and stop putting power to the rear wheel. It does it aerodynamically, mechanically versus killing electronics. Because everybody says, oh, why don't you use launch control on your H2 at the drag strip? Why don't you just use your wheelie control? It'll fix everything. Well, it's okay that you don't know or don't understand or are, I guess, somewhat ignorant, which is not a jab. It's just that you could learn some things from some people who have done it before or whatever. So keeping electronic interventions down the least as possible is actually better. I mean, it's I listened to Nate Kern a lot during doing road racing and stuff, and he always explains in his rider meetings, traction control does not make traction. It only utilizes the amount of traction available. So again, the least amount of rider aids that you are actually using during different situations of racing or high speed or whatever to gain more forward momentum or better braking, the more effective the bike is going to be and the more ground it's going to cover. But yes, all those electronic aids, I'm not an anti, all manual, all analog bike guy. I do like them because most of the time I ride around and, traction control on 2, wheelie control on 2, and cruising around with softer throttle. But when I get into a racing situation, I can pull the front strap down on the fly, change into my custom rider mode, and get down at that moment. And then if I know I have a track day coming up with this bike, then I'll put my factory link back in it, raise the forks back up, remove the front strap, and get it ready for going around some corners at Barber or Grattan or Gingerman or Mid-Ohio or whatever, wherever it takes me.
Okay. Hold on, Steve. Guys, I'm just going to kind of throw this off before we all call it quits. I'm hearing the 1 hour mark. If you're leaving, make sure you smash that thumbs up. This is a super small channel, and we're going to continue pushing. I'm not going to stop. All right? I refuse to. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. Whichever path
Mike, you got some stamina tonight, man.
Listen,
That's way better than last week.
Last week was tough, man. But yeah, if you're here, man, you're watching, you're going to hit that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it because, again, what's going to help me get the channel to where it needs to be, it needs to hit the algorithm. YouTube has to recommend it. Doesn't matter how well I do the videos, how well I produce them, the work that I do. It's really kind of like a math equation. So hit that thumbs up. It's going to help a little channel like mine and bringing you amazing content like this with somebody with motorcycles that I wouldn't dream to have. So, and keep an eye out. There'll be more people like this with cool little interviews and chats and questions. It's your opportunity to actually talk to somebody and get their actual real opinion on what it's like to actually attain something like this. So this is a gem to us all. So yeah, Steve, can you walk me up? I mean, I guess you could flip your camera around. I just want to kind of just give us a walk, not a walk around, but just walk us through all the bikes you have. Guys, these are not all of his bikes. He has his
No,
own
these
private
aren't.
collection. So just you could flip your camera around as you kind of walk us through that.
No, that's all right. So obviously these two bikes are mine. The BMW, which is going to be a max effort bike with one of those hideous 6-inch arms, is going to be that bike. This is a gentleman from New York. This H2 is getting some Jaeger Works intercooler system and stage 3 supercharger gears, and I think possibly cams. So doing some work. And I by no means do this as a business. I'm literally just helping out friends in the bike community. So, but this bike is going to be one of the most interesting. It's going to be all carbon bodywork, no headlights, all race carbon with custom paint work done on it. Mike, do you want me to walk around back here to show some of the rest of the bikes?
Hells yeah, absolutely. What kind of dumbass question is that? Get to it, boy. He's about to show us some gems, and he's talking.
It's cold storage, and some of the.
You're white, man. You like the cold. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, up here in Michigan, we got to be used to it. So, here.
He's just walking to another area, guys. So hang in there.
Yeah, just chill for a minute.
If you guys have any questions, definitely throw them up. We're gonna do like a final segment and kind of like reply to everything. Hopefully I can get an opportunity to put him on the screen so you can see the comment. Oh, goddamn, he's coming up. Oh, we gotta look. Ooh, spicy, boys. I think your connection's slowing down a little bit, though, where you are. But let's see. All right, hold on. We expect stuff like this to happen. So here we are. That little cut. Your boy did his homework, and I was ready for that. So here we go. Let's take a look at those bikes.
All right. Can you guys hear me clearly now? Audio okay and everything?
Hells yeah, we could hear you. Man, I did all my homework, man.
Okay. You're doing amazing, Mike. I'm very, very happy
after
for you.
last Sunday, man, I wanted to go kill myself. But
oh my gosh. Yeah, it was all right. We just need some positive mental attitude going on, man.
Hells yeah.
So this is actually my buddy Denny. He purchased this the same time I bought my 2014 Multistrada GT. He got this 2013 Street Fighter 848. So this is the OG Street Fighter, Mike. And it is a very, very different bike to ride. That's for sure.
I love that bike, man.
It's a great looking bike. Yeah. It's a great looking bike. It's really, really aggressive riding it. Oh my gosh, is it aggressive. But the 848 motor is a very, very sweet L-twin, that's for sure. And this is my Carpenter equipped 2014 Triumph Rocket 3 Roadster. This is one that you said that you saw me going warp speed on. So this is a 700 plus pound bike that normally I run bags on it. It's got a 50 bar and everything that has a bunch of engine work done to it, high compression piston, CNC ported cylinder head.
And that's how I stay motivated, guys, with people like that. You think you're doing well, and then you run to people like this, and you're like, get back to work, son.
Hey, I'm going to tell you that a man's things or the things that he obtains does not make the man or the person. So
I know,
it's just,
I'm fucking with you, Steve. I'm just messing.
Just what I'm passionate about. That's all. And then this is I get it. But yeah, this is the new 2021 Rocket 3 GT. So this is my newest piece. This bike is bone stock with just the addition of mid controls on the bike and the Triumph shift assist. So it has quick shifter auto blip, which is a Triumph accessory, and it is butter. So this is the very first quick shifter downshift that you can do during throttle open. So most of these bikes that have a quick shifter and auto blip, like your Street Fighter, Mike, you have to close the throttle for the downshifts. This bike has something built into the ECU that's very, very smart with the throttle by wire that you can literally go and give it throttle in 6th gear and kick the shifter down 2-3 gears if you're going out and passing someone, just like kick down gear in a car. And it's very, very smooth and seamless. It's very unique. So that bike has a 2500 cc inline 3. The old Triumph Rocket has a 2300 cc inline 3. and they're both shaft drive. And then this is my Peach. I told you if I had no other bike to own or ride or whatever, and I only had my choice of one, it would be the Multistrada. I'm actually looking to try to do something to update my Multistrada here very soon. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to announce it right now until I know what's happening. And then that's a 2015 Multistrada, which is a good friend of mine's. I have to do a radiator on that bike along with his 2014 Carpenter built Gixxer. And then my H2 is actually sitting back here.
Damn, you got it covered
off
up.
of it. Yeah, it's going to be sitting for a little bit. It's unfortunately I have to do a full motor build on this bike, full engine build. So, but yeah, this bike has JagerWorks intercooler, stage 2 supercharger gears. It's tuned by EJR Performance. Also, it's got an 8-inch. It's actually a 8 to 10-inch Adams arm on it with the Rotobox RBX carbon fiber wheel on it. So this bike, before I did supercharger gears, when it was strictly Brock's, I used to go, I think my best time was a 870 at 169 miles an hour at the drag strip with this bike. And I rode it to the drag strip to actually do that with a backpack on my back. And, you know, it's on my channel, and rock it out and go 8s with the bike that you ride. I did a Louis Moto seat cover on it, some carbon fiber in the cockpit area here. And
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yep. And actually, it's weird. The bike that started it all is my dad has passed away, you know, quite some years ago now. But this was his '68 Triumph Bonneville, and I used to ride on the gas tank of this bike back when it was a chopper, back in the day. And my dad used to race out at Bonneville, not this particular bike, but he worked for Triumph Detroit. And this was actually my great uncles that purchased it brand new from Triumph Detroit in 1968, straight out of the service when he came out of Vietnam. So, and my uncle actually died on this bike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely family oriented. I have one more actually hidden away, Mike.
All right, hold on. I'll get you back in there so you can show it. While he's moving to the next location, we'll just wait till that's done, and I'll put him back on, guys. This stuff is just super fascinating. I think the two guys that I know that have that many bikes and all beautiful bikes is gonna be. I know I keep referencing his name. It's gonna be Ebe and 5UP. These guys have a tremendous collection, and they've actually both have tremendously inspired me to actually grow mine, because I made joke a little bit earlier about being kind of penny pinching a little bit, and I've recall where they've been out here in New York, and it's like, dude, you live one time, and if you're good, it shouldn't be a thing where you overthink it, kind of thing. And now I'm up to this, but I might as well share this news anyway before I go back to 5UP. Is that I'm gonna get rid of the Hyper. Not really because of the bike is anything wrong with the bike per se. As you guys can see, it's right behind me here. Hopefully you guys could see that. Hello. We got multiple point of view in the building. I love the bike. I enjoy it immensely. I'm gonna get probably a Supermoto. I'm gonna get rid of the Hyper, and I haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna pick up a Superbike, and I'll do a Supermoto because that's what I want to do with it anyway, with the Hyper anyway. And I don't want it to be a thing where if I dump it, it's gonna be like, oh, you dumped the bike or whatever. So I'll get a Sumo. I'll put that together, and then I just got to figure out which Superbike to kind of grab. But that's gonna be on the docket at least for that. So yeah. So here's this other beauty. Actually, this bike here is in one of my latest video I dropped earlier today. The MV Agusta. Love this freaking motorcycle. It looks very distinct, man. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, it's this is actually the newest bike I purchased. It's a used bike, only has 600 miles on it. I bought it from the late owner of Triumph Detroit, good friend of mine that passed away, and this was his pride and joy. And I purchased it to keep it in the family type thing. I've always wanted an MV that's one of the boutique European bikes I have not yet been able to obtain because there's just not a close MV Agusta dealer around us until recently. We're trying Detroit now as an MV dealer and a Zero dealer. But this bike I was able to purchase just as a peach, man. It's 2019 Brutale Dragster 800 RR. So it has the outer spoked wheels with the anodized accents and everything. It has the MV Agusta performance exhaust, all titanium, which is MV part, but aftermarket for MV. The tail section of this bike is really wild, how it's hollowed out there, and the tail light's very, very futuristic and everything. It has,
do you think, sorry,
clear exposed.
Sorry, Steve, I don't mean to stop you. I just want to ask you this question because I don't want to forget.
No problem.
Do you think MV have Ducati beat in design?
No, I think it's just different. They used to be a more beautiful bike. I guess I could compare this bike because it hasn't changed that much. Compare it to like that Street Fighter or a older Monster, and it might be prettier in different aspects, but the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, like rideability, I haven't ridden this bike yet, Mike. I literally just got it. It's winter here in Southeast Michigan, so I have not been able to even put a single mile on this bike, unfortunately. So it's just sitting inside, sitting chilly until springtime or whatever. But it's a very unique bike with unique looks and unique parts that have been added to it. Also, carbon fiber fender, a lot of carbon bits all the way around it. Louis Moto seat cover. The full exhaust, the custom mapping and tuning, the gas cap obviously and everything. It's a very, very wild looking bike for sure. So I as you saw back there, I don't have a Super Naked anymore. I don't know how I ended up not having my favorite bikes anymore for exchange of Busa and some other super bikes, but unfortunately, I got rid of the other ones to update, and here's part of the update iteration. I absolutely adore this bike, and it's in memory of my buddy Jay.
All right, guys. So we're usually doing this for about an hour, and I don't like to keep it running for way too long. That way, it doesn't get boring, or you guys don't get like completely disgusted with my face. Nah, I mean, your boy got this fresh haircut. I was prepped today to bomb hard, okay, at least looking good as I bombed from the last Sunday, but I didn't. We got to come up to wrap up.
Before we take off, do we have any questions that people, because I know me being a viewer of some of these podcasts and live streams and stuff, people are asking questions and they don't get addressed because we're in the moment.
No.
Very busy.
We're going to scroll through everything and go through all the questions. This is exactly why I'm wrapping up. Guys, drop your questions down below. Just going to quickly set up a Q&A setup here. That way you guys could see some of the information displayed on the screen as we're answering it. Again, this is fairly new, so bear here. I'm still kind of learning a lot of this, and I even bought new equipment I had to learn in record time to making sure that we didn't have the same faux pas we had on Sunday. And yeah, man. So
did you say FUPA? Did you say FUPA?
No, I said faux pas.
Oh, okay. I thought you said FUPA. I'm like, Mike, you realize that means something else that doesn't really mean what we had last week.
All right. So I'll let you guys see my little peasant garage real quick. Unlike 5-Ups.
I love your garage, Mike. Stop it.
Nah, I'm just messing, guys. I'm super grateful for mine as well. So don't think that I'm just trash talking here, man. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you to everybody that tuned in, man, because that means a lot. Because after last Sunday, man, I was really nervous about everything, and I took it really personal. Not to the extent where it's like...
Don't lie, Mike. You were on suicide watch.
No, I was not on suicide watch, but I was definitely in my feelings about it because, guys, to me, it's always a very important. When I take my time to actually to do something and I want to contribute my time to me, it's very important that it comes out right and it's correct. So, it did bother me a little bit. So, but it's all good though. Live and learn.
It's done and over with. It's in the past.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Just kidding. I'm just gonna get this on real quick, guys. I'm just gonna get that downstream key set up. So hopefully I can do that. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to automate this. All right, I just don't want to make it too complicated, so I'll just do it where I'm just answering, guys. So Steve is still here. He could definitely hear you, and I just don't want you guys to wait as I pre-set up comments to pop up on the screen. It's a new thing that I'm learning. Again, this is a learning experience for me. I'm learning a lot in troubleshooting as I'm going and managing a lot of this stuff. So I'm not going to make this a thing where I'm actually doing it while we're here. So while then, you will see my mug, and I'll be going through the comments. Both Steve and I is going to answer. So Armand Salas said, I need more lighting. Actually, I have so much lighting here, man. I just didn't want to be overblown, so maybe I'll do some fine adjustment. The key thing for us this episode was making sure audio is very clean, because looking good is one thing, but if you can't hear, like we know from last Sunday, it's a no-go. Governor D. Nice says, excellent stream, fellas. I really learned a lot just from listening to you both. Man, you didn't learn shit from me. Steve told you everything.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Nah.
You realize the other fellow just told you it's too dark in there. Does he realize that you're of African descent?
Oh, he's making making a race joke. Of course.
I love your face, Michael.
Queens NYC, a New Yorker out here. Appreciate it. He said, I think you can forget last week now. FOPA under the bridge. That's what my wife said too. And, it's hard to forget something, man. I'll never forget it because it's a learning lesson, learning opportunity. And I keep
FOPA,
it in mind.
Not to be confused with FUPA.
Yeah, not to be confused with FUPA. All right, let's go up to the next one, guys. Let's see what we got here. Fireblade says, good night. Governor D. Nice, my MV is very distinct and absolutely gorgeous. That MV is absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful bike. This gentleman here is asking, Tabaz 8584, safety and emissions are about 37. Oh, he was answering someone else. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of going through this as I'm talking to you, so I probably should be reading it in my brain and then answering out, but, I got to make a fool at myself. It was too perfect tonight, so I had to make a fool a little bit. I'm just kind of doing that.
Oh, bro, wait until after hours. Me and Anna got you.
Okay, so we have Western Civilization. I'm going through all of them because I don't want to miss anybody. I'll feel like a douchebag later. So I'll try to be a little bit more discreet about reading them. So Western Civilization question. Do you fear for your personal safety riding around New York City? Chicago here, no one is safe anywhere. On a bike, it's not safe anywhere, brother. You just got to do the best you can. Keep your head on the swivel. Know everything that's happening in front of you, behind you, ahead of you. Don't turn your head off the road, and cover your rear brakes. At least in New York, cover your rear brakes because you don't want to just jab the front brake. And you should be all right. I'd say to be honest, seriously, try to read drivers around you. If you notice people nudging to the left, nudging to the right, they're initiating. Look at their side mirrors. Usually when they're about to do a gesture or change lane, you can see them in their rear view doing it first before they actually move the vehicle. So that's one way to be safe. What about you, Steve? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the higher congestion cities and stuff, I do worry more. It's a lot more to take in and keep account of your surroundings. Something that my actually a really good friend of mine, my ex-fiance actually, still good friends. She's been riding much longer than me, and she always told me when we first started riding together, ride like you're invisible. I'm like, ride like you're invisible? What are you talking about? No one can see me if I'm invisible. Oh, okay. I get it. So, you know, choose your surroundings or where you want to put yourself very wisely. And me, I try to ride out towards the country every time I take off from here. I try to stay the hell away from the city. But you don't have any choice overall to get out of your area. So you just have to be very aware of your surroundings.
Well, the thing is, guys, in New York, there's a lot of roads. I think within an hour time frame, you could either ride city, you could ride back roads, you could ride mountain roads. Basically, in New York City, within an hour, you have access to everything. It's just a matter of you going out there to do it. So, I ride the city a lot. I shoot videos there because I'm comfortable. I kind of work and go back and forth, and it's to me, it's almost like an art being able to negotiate through traffic and still tell a story and still capture everything without killing yourself. That's something special, but I don't think nobody cares too much because it is what it is. But Armand Salas is asking, you need more videos, 5UP, so what are you going to do about that?
Yeah, so my father convinced me and commanded me to get new GoPro 10, setting up my new AGV helmet for moto vlogging once again. And I am actually thinking about setting up a garage cam here and just letting it roll as my antics follow, because I'm not very serious about what I'm doing, but I'm very serious about what I'm working on. So I might do something here soon. I do have a very demanding day job. I run my own business. I'm a one-man army, so it's a lot to do with time at the end of the day. And sometimes I choose to go out and ride and be one, with my friends rather than worrying about camera angles and whether the video is turning out good or not. So, but videos are coming soon. I can't prepare you or tell you when. Just pay attention to the channel and I will announce when new content starts coming out.
We have another question here by Smoke. What mods are you planning for the Superleg? Actually, that was something that came up last time too. So I don't know if there's much to do.
Just chassis setup. Chassis setup. It's got Bren flash going to instead of the P08 air filter, I'll do the Sprint P08 F1, which flows more air. It's got the Brock strap on it. Not much else to do to the Superleg. I'm doing the wing delete. We touched on that earlier.
Oh my God, you and this wing delete, please.
Yeah. It'll be soon. This will be actually the last time that Al Gore's internet's going to see this bike with wings on it.
Why are you taking the wings off?
Too much resistance, too much downforce at these half-mile events where you're doing upwards of 180, 190 miles an hour racing your opponent. This will slow my bike down considerably, having these wings on here. So I'm doing a very, very tasteful Ducati Performance carbon fiber wing block off plates that are color coded to the color of the bike and exposed carbon. So it's not going to be a nasty looks like something's missing look on the bike. And within an hour I can have the fairings all off the bike, disassembled, which I do all the time to clean the inner fairings and the engine of the bike and stuff anyways and service it. So if I choose to put them back on, I can throw them back on. It's
okay.
Only a matter of nuts and bolts.
I have one here from T-Boz8584. He says, Mike, I follow you and Life with Anna B. That's my wife, for you guys that don't know. When do you find time to record your rides outside of work in swooning? Oh, man, I always have time for that. Now he's asking when I get time to spend time with A. I always have time for that. everything else can be held off. But yeah, with my lady, I always have time for that, man. I'm able to, like today, I produced 2 videos, and she's a huge force in this, by the way. I do the pre-edits and the initial cuts, and my wife does a lot of the fine-tuning and really cleaning up all the edits, getting everything done. She's a super quick, very good editor, and I was able to produce 2 videos, that motivation one, mine, and then of course I'm here tonight doing live streams. So try to be as productive as possible with time, man. That's how you have to be. Anyway, that is just the name of the game in life. You have to hustle to make things happen, man. And you know me, I'm all about that hustle.
That you are, sir.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, anything else? I almost forgot. If you're here, you're watching, thumbs up. I know I've said it a couple of times. It's one of those things I always have to remind people because they don't. It's going to help the channel, so hit the thumbs up. Also, I'm going to be doing a special highlight all the time with every episode. Anybody that does super chats, for example, I bought a couple of new equipment. All that stuff goes towards that. So not only I did troubleshoot that terrible audio from the last episode, I did buy new equipment. So if you end up doing super chat, you contribute. That stuff doesn't even really hit my pocket to begin. It just helps with production and getting things right and getting people on there. So Anthony Lamastro, thank you so much. I know he's dropped several super chats in the past stream and this one also. So that's going to be something where I highlight. I'm not saying that for people to do that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying when they do, I will be highlighting. So fellas, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know both Steve and I are both grateful that you guys came back because I was super nervous that people will never come back as YouTube. The attention span with people when thing is not right or if it doesn't work, they never come back. And you guys know me, man. I like things to be right, and I like to work hard and really put my best foot forward at all times. And if it goes bad, I come back even stronger. So that's my thing. Steve, anything you want to throw in before we're out?
Mike, I'm like that damn hemorrhoid that you can't get rid of. So I'm always coming back.
This fucking guy.
No, I really appreciate the people that checked this out, hung in there with us, went through the growing pains and everything. But again, I'm only gonna concentrate on the good. Tonight was a huge success in my opinion. I am very grateful that you considered me to be on your podcast here, Mike, and what you're doing is really, really cool. Again, there's just a lot of people in this community that I am grateful for. Some guys are real big names. Some guys are someone that you may not know. But overall, I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm glad that we can share this with the viewers.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas, guys, thank you so much, everybody, every single person that was here for a few minutes, whether you stayed the entire way. Thank you so much, man. We'll catch you guys.
Oh yeah, and happy Hanukkah. That's coming up soon here. So
it's happy Kwanzaa, man.
Oh yeah, holidays anyways.
Nah, we're not PC over here, guys. We have a good time, man. You guys have a good night. Thank you all. Good night.